Hey, what's going on out there? YouTube's SEO0320 representing JVS. Just going to give you a heads up about the new show called Warrior. This is going to be on Cinemax. Let's give you a quick synopsis background on it. Warrior is a gritty, action-packed crime drama set during the brutal Tong Wars of San Francisco, Chinatown, in the second half of the 19th century. The series follows Assam, a martial arts prodigy who immigrates from China to San Francisco under mysterious circumstances, becomes a hatchet man for one of Chinatown's most powerful thongs. Now, the thing about this is the fact that this is actually based on an original concept by Bruce Lee, and the character Assam is really an emulation of Bruce Lee on so many different levels. It's kind of just like Bruce Lee, if he kind of conceptualized this and actually made it a series or a movie or a show, he would be playing this role, and he would be playing it very well, because this actually is really good. So I just got done looking at the very first episode, and I gotta say that the choreography and the fight style and just what they're able to kind of do in a short amount of time really establishes the dominance of what is capable in terms of, like, you know, edginess and just like roughness. Like the beginning fight when Ansan kind of came off the boat and like he noticed one of his, you know, other Asian like brothers like legit like getting kind of bullied, and like he was in there, had his food on the ground, he was like, no, don't pick that up, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden they had to pick a fight with him, the constables that were in the area, and it was kind of just like, let's go. Like, the thing about his character, he's got this edginess about him, but at the same exact time, he's so, what's the word? I don't know. He's too extra. Like, he really is way too rash and full of himself and very, very sure that he has it all under control. But I think one of the things I loved about this episode specifically is that he gets humbled in that. Not necessarily beat down, but humbled in the fact that just because you know how to fight and you can take care of yourself and know your surroundings very well, doesn't mean you know what you need to do to survive. Doesn't mean you know the right answers to fix everything, especially not just with your fix. And because the thing about this is that there was a scene where one of the police officers like saw this guy like legit. It was like, they're killing us, and the imagery behind the way it kind of panned out, I was like, I appreciated it because it kind of was reminiscent of some things that are going on even now, because, you know, the guy went and investigated what happened, stopped the situation, and did the right thing. And I was like, that's a rarity, you know what I'm saying? Like, to actually see in movies and the depiction behind it, and the fact that this actual other officer is an American from the South, I thought that was really interesting. But the other side of this, if you've looked at like movies like Gangs of New York, you know that from the immigration standpoint of like who's coming, who's going, that Irish Americans had a lot that they had to kind of go through from an adversity standpoint, from like a poverty standpoint, and just it really is shown on a deeper level in just a few minutes that they kind of explored it in this episode, specifically with the main person that, you know, he got put tasked with this, figuring out how to police Chinatown. And I think it's going to be very fascinating to see where they're going to go with it, just based on the circumstances that he's kind of put in. The cast is doing a really good job. I don't think there was any like standout performances. I think one person that did stand out was a person named Jason Tun, who plays the role of Young Jun. He's such a, I don't even know. He's got this charisma about him, but you know he's bad news. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could just really tell. Another person by the name of Bill O'Hara, who's played by Kieran Bew, he's kind of like the ringleader of the Irish Americans, and he kind of like had this really interesting fight scene that I was kind of like, did he just go Super Saiyan? What the heck is happening? The other thing about the fights, that there are specific fights that I was like, specifically our main character, who played by Andrew Kojui, I think I just mispronounced his last name, I apologize, Assam, where he legit, in my opinion, could have killed some people, and he chose not to. That shows a lot about his character, even though he's like all in your face and saying this, but he really does care about preservation of life, and more so than that, he had a motivation, he had a character motivation that really got tested by the end of the episode, which is really interesting as well. But this other character in the role of Bill O'Hara, like, is very different from that, and I think that yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where things go. There's a lot of other interesting hidden surprises. If you are a fan of, like, I guess shows like Into the Badlands or movies like The Raid Redemption, like, you're gonna love the fights in this, because there's this one fight towards the end that I was like, this is brutal. Are they gonna take it a step further than this? Because if they do, it's gonna be insanity, like, for real. And so I appreciated all the martial arts. I appreciated all the cinematography. Cinematography was actually really beautiful. There was some shots that they got with this one. I was like, they're using drone shots, they're using, you know, camera jumps, they're using definitely rigs, like huge rigs. And I think they didn't spare any expense on terms of quality and just the way that it's actually filmed from a cinematography standpoint, as well as one thing I thought was really interesting touch was the score. I think the score was actually really well done, specifically for a show like this. Title screen was actually really good as well. But I don't want to ruin anything for you other than the main character goes through this interesting trial by fire, and he realizes he's put himself in a situation undeliberately, but at the same time he very much so is in a situation. Now he has to do something about it, and there's things that he just doesn't know. I thought that was really interesting change and flip by the end of the episode. But either way, if I had to give it an episode rating, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I think it was really good. Definitely go and check it out if you've not seen it yet. And I would recommend being careful as far as it is Cinemax. There's a lot of sex scenes. There's a lot of unnecessary, grotesque sex moments. Language is, you know, it is what it is. I thought they did a really interesting thing where when the Asian Americans were talking, they went and flipped and it came out English, even though they're actually talking in their native tongue. I thought that was really interesting, switch and change how they kind of did that transition, because it was really seamless. It really seemed really seamless. But either way, hope you guys enjoy this review. I'll talk to you guys later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Definitely go and check out The Warrior. It's pretty epic. Peace, guys.